The hostile environment? Uh, Not much. I mean, we're working with a silent count this week, but we've always had that in the arsenal. For times like this. Used it against Georgia Tech, so started repping it again. And as for our offense, it really noise really isn't a factor because we go off hand signals. So obviously looking forward to playing in a loud, packed environment, but from a distraction standpoint, it should be okay.
How much extra excitement does it give you?
Oh, me personally, it's awesome. Obviously we love playing at home, but there's something to being on the road and being away from your own fans. And for me, being close to home, being at a stadium that I'm familiar with, it's gonna be pretty sweet.
It's kind of strange that you guys have only played 2 true road games up to this point.
Yeah, it just kind of worked out that way. We've won everywhere we've gone, obviously, except Charlotte. So this will be another good test for us on the road against a solid opponent in a hostile environment. So it's going to be another history week. It's the coastal week, so obviously looking forward to the challenge.
Your punt return Saturday, Mac made a block that kind of helped spring you. And next thing you know, when you're running down the sideline, Mac's kind of guiding you into the end zone. Pretty amazing when you see that he was at one point maybe 15 yards behind you after making that block. How amazing a special teams player is he?
Yeah, Mac's good. I mean, now I have to say I was running horizontal there for a long time.
But still, to see the block.
Yeah.
And you don't expect to see that guy back into play.
Mac gives great effort every play.
Yeah.
That's what you get from Mac, and it just helps that his effort. He's got a lot of God-given talent to go with that effort, which is why you see him run by people and do stuff that he does, special teams and on offense. So it's really comforting to know that someone cares that much, on the punt return unit to block for me and to see us get the record.
Coach said that he's going to use that return as a clinic because it wasn't just Mac, it was everybody in what they did. Go back to a year ago when questions about punt return it wasn't in sync. A lot of the guys weren't all doing their jobs, and it wasn't like it's been this year. At what point did you realize, if it was maybe the Delaware game when you had that return, that this group was better than it was a year ago, and everyone was handling their responsibilities better?
Yeah, I'm not sure when it really clicked. If I had to pinpoint something, I'd say the Illinois game when we kept getting good returns. I had time, and honestly, it's all about the kick. You could have a great return set up, but if you don't get the right kick, which we didn't get a lot of the times last year, then it's not going to be worth anything. So we've been fortunate enough to get good kicks. The one that I returned against Miami was dead center in the middle of the field, and if you give me that much space in the middle of the field with the guys that I've got in front of me, it's going to be a good return each time. So guys have done a much better job of just locking in this year on the punt return unit, and because of that, we've got 2 returns thus far.
You mentioned Ronan not too far from there. What does it mean to Ryan Switzer to play in Frank Beamer's last game in Blackstone?
To me, it's surreal. I mean, I'm still I'm just a kid from West Virginia. All this to me still seems unreal, but to be able to play him, I feel like I've known Coach Beamer since I was born, just because I've heard my dad scream at him from the television because West Virginia could never beat him, and so to be able to play him in his last game is for me personally is huge. I have a lot of respect for him. He recruited me coming out of high school, and unfortunately I wanted him to take a loss his last game, but ultimately I have nothing but respect, and he's a really great guy.
Is it easy to push that emotional component aside and play on Saturday?
Well, I think it kind of helps. I think the bigger the environment, the bigger the stage, the better I play. So obviously during the game I'm not going to be worried about it being his last home game. I'm going to be worried about trying to score or do this and that, but leading up to the game, it creates a sense of excitement. These are the type of games that you want to play in, regardless of what their record is. It's going to be a blackout for them. They're bringing in extra stands. You want to play in those types of games, and me personally, I love playing when the lights are on. So it's not really a distraction. It's kind of it enhances your excitement.
I'm curious, you mentioned you grew up in West Virginia. Obviously, you're familiar with Virginia Tech growing up. How would you describe their program and the kind of the way Beamer runs that, what they do and what they're effective at over time?
Well, they've always been fast and athletic. I've always, whether it was Michael Vick, Marcus Vick, Tyrod Taylor, anybody that they've been able to run, they've been able to stay with you, and then defensively, they've always done the same thing with Coach Foster there. It's cover one, cover zero. Our guys are better than your guys, so it's interesting to see that it hasn't changed. They've had success with that system for a long time, and they're continuing to have success with it. And then obviously they've built special teams. Special teams comes from Virginia Tech, and they've obviously put great emphasis on it since they've been there. So they haven't changed to a great extent, since I've watched them as a little kid.
Is that defense fun to go against for a receiver?
Absolutely. It's all, you'll see. We've already watched plenty of film, but you'll see there'll be 4 wide receivers lined up, and there will be 4 DBs right in their face. And as a receiver, you want mano a mano. You want to win your battles. You want someone in front of you. It also makes it a lot easier because you don't have to read any coverages. It's man. You've got to run your route to beat the guy in front of you. So we've got the guys to do it. Guys are excited about it. Obviously, not saying we're going to win every battle because they've got great athletes. They've got great corners that are at the college level too, and someday going to play in the NFL. So, but our job is to win most of them and give Quinn someone to throw it to.
Collectively, what do you think makes you guys such an effective group of receivers?
Collectively, we've got so many people. Bug, Matt, Quinshot, me, Damien, Bull.
And you're all kind of different guys.
Yeah,
too.
we each bring something different to the table, and you can't take one of us away. You can't take 2 of us away. And I think what helps the receivers a lot is the run game that we have with Elijah and Marquise, which kind of opens up stuff for us. So there's a lot of weapons, and ultimately all of that helps us as a receiver unit.
Same guys as